Good.
Take two. Let's try this again. Justin, would you mind introducing yourself? Let us know how long you've been keeping reptiles and what got you into it.
Oh man.
Dude, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Someone said yay. Yay, we're back.
All right.
I think, Justin, can you hear us? Yeah.
Sounds like you ate Pop Rocks, dude.
Brandon, let's go to you.
Okay.
Brandon, noodles and noodles.
Hey, that's me.
He's gone and it's still going on.
You guys can hear me fine, right?
Yeah, just go.
All right. So, what do you want to know? How long I've been doing it?
What's that?
What's
How
the
long
question?
have you been doing it, and what got you into it?
So I've been keeping for almost 10 years and breeding for 7. I've been working with wildlife and exotics, pure exotics, like big cats, big lizards, birds of prey, animals in general since I was 13. And I just had a really, really bad childhood, so I stayed out of the house. And I would always go out, go herping. I didn't know it was called herping, but, catching salamanders and stuff. And it was like my happy place. It just made me happy. So I've been officially like a business and doing it and educating for 7 years. But I've been doing it my whole life, really.
Nice.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Mr. Gundy, how about you?
Pretty much the same story. Ever since I can remember, I've been catching insects, wild animals. I've been into falconry. I competitively raced pigeons for 25 years.
That's awesome.
I've worked with mountain lions, cheetahs, African lions, wolves, chimpanzees, and I've had just about every type of animal you can imagine for a pet. So it's always been animals with me. It's just, I'm just crazy about animals. And it doesn't matter. I mean, dogs are my favorite animal, and I just love them. But everything else is a close second. So it's been, I've probably been breeding ball pythons for 20 years, and I did colubrids for about 12 or 15 years before that.
Do you still have colubrids or ball pythons? Yeah.
I used to breed colubrids for about 10 or 12 years before I got into ball pythons.
Carrie, how about you?
Okay, so my name's Kerry Molinaro, and I am the owner-operator of the Molinaro Snake Lab. I've been keeping snakes on and off because I joined the military, the Marine Corps, a while back. So for 9 years I was in, so I didn't keep anything then. But before that, probably for about 5 years, I had snakes, and then I joined the Marine Corps, got out, and then after I got out and got a house and everything, that's when I started getting snakes again and started breeding. So this is my fourth season breeding. Mostly ball pythons. I did a clutch of Bredli, and then I got some tricolor hognose and some children's pythons that I plan on breeding, and my interest keeps continuing to grow as I see new snakes that I want to get. So I'm sure I'll have a lot more in the future.
Very cool. Justin, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, same question to you. How long have you been in, and what made you get in?
I've been in for about 15 years, since I was about 10, 11 years old. My older brother had a snake. I never really paid attention to it. And one day we went down to Reptile Finders in Lomita, and he said, "Hey, let's go have on an anaconda." So we left half deposit, waited 2 days for it to get shipped in, and we paid the rest. And I've been hooked like a fish ever since.
Very cool. So the main topic for tonight is social media. The reason I invited you guys on, I have mad respect for all of you, and you're all completely different from each other. And you have different platforms. So that's what I want to ask you about now. What social media platforms do you have right now? Mr. Gundy.
I'm really focusing on Instagram only now. I've kind of backed off YouTube, and I'm on Instagram. I put something up every day.
Yeah, I noticed you've gotten more active. You've got a pretty big following on YouTube, don't you?
Yeah. It's just that Instagram is so much easier for me, and I can load right from my phone, and it's just so easy. And I'm kind of computer challenged, so simple is good.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why I switched over to Instagram.
Brandon, how about you?
I have Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Facebook is a personal social media. Of course, it's all snakes, and if I post it on Instagram, it automatically goes to Facebook, but I'm pretty much non-existent on Facebook. I hit Instagram hard. I post every day, every other day. Right now, I'm transitioning out of the Army, so I'm like really, really busy.
Wow.
So I've only been posting like twice a week. And I'm doing YouTube with Liz from Royal Reptiles, and our YouTube channel is Reptile Revolution. And Alex has actually been a guest on Reptile Revolution. Yeah. And we actually don't like to bring a lot of ball python people in, even though that's our main audience. We like to bring people that work with other species. We have Chase's wife, Chase from JKR. His wife is going to be our next guest. She's a zookeeper. She keeps kinkajous and wolves and deer and all sorts of stuff. So we like to take the ball python audience and show them that the world is much bigger than just morphology. So that's my YouTube thing.
Absolutely. Alex? He's muted. There you go.
I can 5% of everything anybody said.
Can y'all hear him?
No.
No, maybe. Just try to come back, Alex, maybe. Oh.
Carrie, how about you?
Hello.
Hmm.
You hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Wait, what was the question? Oh, what platform? So as far as right now, I'm on Instagram is kind of my main focus. I chat the most on there. I talk to more people on there. I'm also on TikTok, and I have Facebook, but kind of Facebook is, I don't know, an afterthought really. Like anything I post on Instagram, I'll just drop it on there. My following's not really big on there. I don't do a lot of communicating. Facebook I use mostly for, family stuff and all that. But I have the Snake Lab page on there. But again, it's like an afterthought. I kind of just dump everything else I do everywhere else and put it on there. But pretty much across the board, it's the same. I mostly the same videos, the same thing I post. I try to put it all over the place because I have different age group following. On TikTok the following on TikTok is a lot different than my following on Instagram, or not as many breeders and not as many keepers on there and stuff. So those are the three platforms that I use right now.
Yeah, you blew up on TikTok like overnight, didn't you?
Yeah, TikTok. I posted. So at first I didn't have much of a following, a couple hundred people, and then I posted a video of one of my snakes. I caught it on video, like laying an egg, and I posted that, and it started to take off. And then I posted it, like the next day. I posted candling an egg, and I think I made the video in such a way like I shine the light on the egg and I said good egg, and then I shine on the light good egg, and I think everybody was waiting for the bad egg. And for whatever reason, that video blew up. It hit like on TikTok. It hit like over 1 million. It had over 1 million views. And then that one where the snake was laying the egg, that went up to like 4. I think it's at like 4 point something million now. And
Wow.
yeah, after those two, I mean, it just blew up. I kept getting followers and followers and followers. And then every now and then it slows down. And I get like, you know, a couple hundred views, and then I'll put another one up. And it's strange, like when I post the videos that did really well on TikTok don't do really well on Instagram, and vice versa. Sometimes they'll do really well on Instagram, and so I don't know how to figure it out. I try to be creative. I try to just post stuff, and you know, if people like it, great. If not, you know, on to the next video.
I mean, well, your content is very creative, you know. So
Thank you.
No, I love it. I watched it the other day, and I think it's creative. It's almost like circus, not circus, but like Wriggling Brother / like old school magic, and some like, you know, it's a different way of catching an audience, and it's awesome. I love it.
Science. I like it how you bring science to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, some mad science
And
stuff.
that's kind of what I was going after. Like when growing up, I used to always like to watch like the late night horror movies, and they always have like a horror movie host.
Yep.
So that's kind of where I developed like
Creature
the mad
features.
scientist.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's kind of I tried to get that mad scientist guy and you know, introduce snake breeding, or introduce my clutches, you know, the clutch of snakes that I have, and I try to put some educational stuff in there to kind of, but again, I have a passion for it, and you know, it's just the way I see it. I guess I try to, you know, get to a different audience, you know, something different that you don't see all the time.
I was gonna say that.
It's a reward-winning beard.
Yeah, that's
What's
what
that?
I was gonna bring up, Mary. Exactly, that's what I was gonna say. He's got the look.
I said it's all done with the award-winning beard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the award-winning beard, dude. That's what I was gonna just say too. That's funny.
And I love the goggles too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right. Yeah. That.
I wish we could do the
putting
smoke
them in there.
effects and you boom have them on.
I started putting them in there, and then people were asking like, "Hey, where are the goggles? Where are the goggles?" So I was like, "Shoot, I guess I gotta have the goggles all the time now."
It's the whole package, Kerry.
Right. You gotta bring it all.
now, Kerry, have you seen like Dragon Ball Z?
dude. If you don't like Dragon Ball Z,
Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah.
the old one. I didn't keep through all the.
You know the Master
Master
Roshi, like with a goggle and the
Yeah.
ball head. That's you.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
mad scientist, you know, Master Roshi, all mixed into one. You know, it's just I love it. And before we keep going, but I want to thank you, Kerry and Brandon, for your service. So you guys are in the military. So
Yes.
you know, I
Yes.
appreciate that. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
Thank you, all of you. Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Alex, let's try you again.
All right. That better? It was
Oh
terrible.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what
Can
kind
y'all
of
hear?
platforms are you on, Alex?
Honestly, I don't really use social media that much anymore. I had a huge spike a couple months ago, and then it came to like a sudden stop, and then I had like a really hard set reality check that honestly I was getting way too worried about my Instagram growth and all these things. I was almost obsessed, and it was like a humbling moment because I was, you know what, I don't deserve followers, but I'm just all about, you know, like the views and all these things. So for me, it was like almost like a reality check, and I'm thankful that it's just come to a sudden stop, because what it's done is, instead of just posting videos that, oh, look at all these people, they want to see a tarantula eat a cricket, now I can actually turn these videos into like a much more educational passion of like why I'm actually doing what I want to do, you know, because at the end of the day, yeah, it's cool. You just saw a freaking cricket die a miserable death. But it's like now it's like I can present things, you know, because again, you know, I don't be the guy that's just all about the number. You know, that's not my cup of tea. And for those who know me, you know that's what I strive for, you know. So right now, so just Instagram, Twitter catcher, and I hardly am using that anymore. I might post and I'll get like 100 likes out of 13,000 followers, but it's whatever. Cause I like people who are watching it. They're super, like, you know, it's super just, you know, straight to the point of like, you know, why I do what I do. So I'm actually glad that I had a hard reset.
Alex, your content is some of my absolute favorite content. I always share your content to other people because I always see you like you put out a video, I think it was just like maybe less than a week ago, where you found this blue tail skink under a rock, and you're always handling your hots, right? You're venomous. And I think you're the guy, and I've always thought about doing something like traveling the country in an RV and visiting just keepers and just breeders, because I think there's this huge gap that should be bridged between the keeper and the breeder, right? And Alex, I think you're the kind of person who has the right attitude to bridge that gap. Because, like, whenever I'm on a YouTube, even right now, I guarantee my girlfriend's watching, right? Always. She never comments, though, except for on one video, Alex wrote, I had you on my channel, and she said, Alex, I love your passion. Because it's been a long, long, long time since I met someone who literally will live like a poor man to give their animals a better quality of life than they have themselves.
And that's exactly what I strive for, and I'm very thankful that for the reality checks of life, because at the end of the day, it's like, Steve Irwin is my standard, and anything that doesn't meet that bar, I'm gonna get rid of it. And if I have to get rid of Instagram, if I have to get rid of this crap because it's just polluting my mind, because it is a numbers game, it is a social experiment that is just trying to get people this like fake, just like satisfaction of like, oh, look at how many people like, and I fell prey to that crap, and it just hurt my soul, because it's like, you know what? I don't need that. So again, I'm so thankful that my videos are getting 100 likes, because you know what, at the end of the day, now my videos, it's not about what I think people are going to be attracted to. It's about how I know I'm going to impact people to make a much more wider and broader scale of impact on people who need to hear about conservation. So I'm showing them like, hey, this is how I work with a blue-tailed skink, or this is how I'm working with this specific rattlesnake. You know what I mean? And that's where my passion comes. So I really don't know what else to say. I mean, social media.
Can I ask something?
It's just a tool.
I'm wondering, hey Brian, how do you find Brian Gundy, how do you find like the middle? How do you feel about that? Like, do you find there's like a middle between educating people, and then there's also, do you see the side that like it's a numbers thing? Like
I've never been a part of the numbers thing. It doesn't matter to me at all.
Amen.
But I know you do a lot of educational conservation stuff. You're finding snakes all the time. So
yeah, I mean, if I can bring 200 people out with me herping, sort of, if you get what I mean, then that's the fun, and that's the fun of it for me. It's not about how popular the videos are or whatever. It's not. It's just never been that way.
Yeah. And Alex, I think I like your content too, catching stuff, and I really like going out into the wild and catching snakes. Not that I find time to do it myself, but I really do appreciate watching that kind of content and stuff.
I do it every day.
It's exciting for me. Even when I'm watching Brian Gundy or you catch a snake and stuff, I'm there with you guys, and so.
Oh, and
I think we see the passion in Alex and what he talks about, and definitely there's a lot of people that's out there chasing numbers, but there are those that are, it's all about, the people you really want watching are the people that really care about what you're doing, Those other numbers are just numbers. In reality, they don't do anything for you. They're just numbers. So I'm like to watch you, Alex, talk about how you feel and the things that you go through and what your perception of it is. I think it's great, because at the end of the day, you want to affect those that you care about, that want to learn and understand. And those other people are just numbers to just, hey, I just to be there. It's not worth it. And obviously, Brian, you do a great job. You're always out there, sharing your moments with everyone else as well. I mean,
and that's a blast for me. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it's like I can't be there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Justin, same thing. You're
Yes.
Your platform, you're showing a variety of things, and I know you have TikTok. I know you have. I follow you on TikTok. I follow you on Instagram. Do you have YouTube? And I'm gonna start with you with the next question. How do you handle hate? Because I know you get some of that too.
Oh, I get quite a bit. I think for me, with the variety, I try to find balance, right? Because we're not in a market like dogs and cats to where it's normal to do certain things with a dog and cat to where if you do it with a reptile, it's like this guy is crazy as hell. You know, if I sit on the couch and watch a movie with a snake on my lap.
What just happened?
Oh.
I don't know. Guys, my mom just called me on the phone, and now my volume of everybody just went way down. So I'm gonna leave and come back too. So this is a great time to do it. I'll be right back.
Let's go to Kiri. How do you handle hate on social media? Have you had to deal with any of that?
Well, usually I cry a lot, and then I'll fantasize about my own death for a while.
That sounds like some real devil puppy stuff right there.
No, you know what? I find that a lot of it is based on misunderstanding. So many people, if I post a video, like one of the recent ones I got a lot of hate on is I posted that video. It was like a side-by-side. And it was a guy, and he was sticking a snake down like a mud hole, and then all these fish started coming out.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess everybody thought that I was promoting this, and I made a funny video next to it. And but man, I got so much hate on that video. I got a lot of people liked it and found the humor in it. But I think I think a lot of it is just misunderstanding. People are quick to assume on social media, and they're this guy is doing, or the other one I get a lot on is like when I pop the snakes. Everybody's quick to assume that I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm going to injure the animals, or I'm popping their guts out, or I get all kinds of stuff about that. I got I make like the wet specimen, so after one of my snakes dies, I will I'll turn it into a wet specimen. And that's the other one. Someone told me that they hope I die. They say, "Oh, you killed this snake to put it in a jar. I hope you're next." And it's a misunderstanding. It's like I have a page dedicated to snakes. I love them. I'm not. So I think people are quick to assume, and that's how I take it. It's hey, I try to explain myself, but I don't have the time to sit there and answer every single person and say, "Hey, sorry, this is what I meant. This is what I meant. This is what I meant." So, and I think it's one of those things where I have to remember now that not everybody that sees my content are my followers. Because I think my followers understand me, and they know what I'm about and what I go after. But sometimes I forget that when you do the hashtags or whatever, however it works, that a lot of people that aren't your followers see your videos, and I think if they're not on the same wavelength as you, then I think they're quick to assume and start spitting the hate out over it. So I kind of you just gotta roll with it.
I mean, if people take 2 seconds before they were to actually speak and process that, their response would be different.
100%.
It could be different.
100%.
So, I mean, a lot of people are just really quick, keyboard warriors, and they're gonna come at you and makes them feel good.
And I'm not one of the I'm on social media, but I'm not I don't consider myself social media savvy or tech savvy. I just try to be creative, make a video, and post it. So a lot of these people are like, "Oh, you should post this because it might trigger somebody. It might trigger somebody." I was like, I don't even know what you mean by triggering anything. I don't understand. I don't understand this lingo. So I just,
really.
It's just to post videos and hopefully people like them. So I'm in the scene, but I'm not. I'm not up to date with all the hip stuff. I'm 40 years old, so I'm or almost 40. I'll be 40 at the end of the year, but
just
so
a kid.
I'm not yeah, right. But I'm not. So I'm not up on the social media scene as much as some of the younger people.
Yeah, we don't talk about age around Brian, okay?
It's wisdom. It's not age.
That's okay. I'll be 18 till I die, so that's all right.
There you go. It's just anniversaries every year, right? Mr. Gundy, how about you? I don't think you're maybe seeing as much hate on Instagram as maybe YouTube. How do you handle it, and how would you suggest other people handle it?
You know, I don't get much hate on any of Instagram or whatever.
Good. You don't deserve it.
The reason, if I do, it's because I might do something a little bit different than somebody else, and they don't think I should do it the way that I do. They think I should do it the way that everybody else does it. And you know, I've been doing this long enough where I'm just not there. I mean, I'm hopefully, you know, cutting edge stuff rather than following stuff, and that's so. I don't get much hate. I just don't.
That's good. You don't deserve
Lucky
it.
for me, because I'm really a sensitive guy, and I think if I did, it would really bother me.
I just like to suggest to everybody watching the video and everybody in the live, y'all need to be following this man, along with all of our guests here. Alex, I've seen it on your post, the hate. And I've also, you DM'd me your responses and DM hate from people. And I think I've seen you actually turn people's minds.
Yeah.
And with the way you've handled the hate that you've received. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's really fascinating the way the mind works, is because there's a lot of adolescent like principles in people's minds that they just respond. It's pure instinct. And a lot of the times people, like you guys were saying, they do not think before they speak. And that's kind of like a common trend with like a vast majority of people. And I can say that because I've been guilty, so I'm able to spot it out, you know, just like anybody who's been guilty of something. But yeah, people have really come at me because I've you know, posted pictures with venomous snakes, and you know what? At the end of the day, I know my heart, I know my motives, and the beauty of it is that I'm working endlessly and tirelessly. Like even now, I will have to leave soon, you know, despite wanting to be here, because I have to go, you know, search properties for snakes that people don't want, otherwise they're going to die. But with my action and the amount of effort that I put into saving these animals, it's like I really don't care what people say anymore. Because at the end of the day, if you and I were to stand neck and neck and we were to compare who's doing what for these animals, I would skyrocket. And I'm not trying to boast. I really don't care about that. But the reality is people are coming and they're just sitting on their couch having nothing better to do but saying, Alex, you're such an idiot. I hope you get bit. It's like, that's fine. But what are you doing on behalf of these snakes? Who are you advocating for? All you're advocating for is for ignorant people who are trying to just, you know, express their opinions. And that's not what you're supposed to do. But, you know, I even get a lot of hate from the reptile community, because I like to say that the reptile community is probably my worst enemy. And I really don't care, because at the end of the day, you know, my end sight is the conservation and well-being of these animals, and nothing's going to stop me. You know, so whether I'm holding a venomous snake, you know, there's a beautiful thing too, is because everybody's different, right? There's so many different types of people. There's literally a set of people that no beautiful photography or no well-edited video will be able to, you know, puncture their hard hearts. But once they're able to sit down and see me work with a venomous snake, you wouldn't even believe. They're mind blown. Like literally lies and lies and generations of bullcrap just gone out the window. And they're like, how is it possible that this snake is this way? And I'm like, well, let me tell you, everything you've believed prior is a lie. These snakes are not murderers. They're not trying to harm you. They're pure instinctual creatures. And once you remove that you know, idea that you're here to harm them, and you kind of communicate that through your body language, you have a completely different snake. But I also say, obviously, I'm a professional. I've been working with them, and I don't cross that line. I do not force the snake to do something it doesn't want to do. I'm very careful, and maybe I get bit, you know, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to keep pushing. I'm still going to keep doing everything I'm doing. I'm still going to keep saving the snakes. So, you know, I keep bringing the compliment or the hate. I don't care.
That's amazing, man.
I'm going to keep changing hearts and minds, and nothing's going to stop me. So,
Alex, I fucking love you, dude.
I do.
That's really amazing.
I came to the realization that I'm no good maned. So now my main things, you know, especially if I'm working on people's houses, I just do things quick and swiftly. So I'm not there to put on a show, really. I want to get the steak, snake out of there and the people safe. So I'm not really about that whole free handling thing. But lo and behold, like if I'm out on my own personal time, I literally, like, I don't know how to express it. There's just deep love and passion. Like when I see a rattlesnake, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're just the most amazing thing. And it's just the ultimate privilege to be up close and personal. And the snake is just not responding like people, like they say it's going to respond. So for me, that's like, it's a privilege.
Yeah.
So I don't know how else to put it. It's just, I'm just weird, I guess. So,
your pictures, your videos, and your captions all show that passion.
What I was gonna say too is good for the people that are calling people like you, man, because you know what I mean. Like they could have just, I don't know what they would. What are the effects if they don't call you? You know what I mean? Like so,
kill the snake.
They'll kill it, eh?
People, I beg.
So good for them for calling out and calling a professional like you, Alex. You know what I mean? So
I beg people not to. I literally was. I caught a snake on somebody's property, and I begged them. They had like 20 acres. I begged them to allow me to take it to the side of the property. I'm like, listen, you guys are fine, but I'm literally trying to convince somebody to let me save the snake that they wanted to kill. And it's just like, this is my battle. This is my struggle. But this is, I am,
really?
I was put here on Earth. This is my reason. This is my purpose.
Right on, man.
That's awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's awesome that you think that way, and also the fact that you don't really care what people think because you're doing you. And to me, it's awesome because you know what? To please everyone is never gonna happen. That's just never gonna happen. So you're doing it for yourself, and at the end of the day, you get to go home and you get to sleep, and you know what? You're doing something good. So that's awesome, man.
I mean, not only with what you do, it shows the amount of passion that you have towards the animal, man, the snakes, but through your words. We can hear it. I'm sure everyone else can hear it. You're very passionate about it, and it says a lot about you, man.
Hey, Alex,
those are the people we're trying to bring on here too, man. So,
hey, Alex,
Brandon, I love
everyone here tonight. So.
I loved you before I met you in Arlington, and then after I met you in Arlington, I can't imagine anybody having hate for you or showing you hate. But I'm guessing maybe you've gotten some. How do you handle it?
Well, first, I want to hear what Gundy has to say to Alex.
Yeah.
I was raised by a Mexican grandma.
Alex.
If I would disrespect my elders,
I was just going to ask Alex if he had
seen I'm sorry. I didn't hear him talking.
Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, I was just going to ask Alex and you guys and the rest of you guys if you've seen the video I put up a couple of days ago of a pair of Northern Pacific rattlers breeding right in front of me. It was just Alex.
I did. I sent it to my girlfriend. It was so cool.
That was pretty cool.
He said it was a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
I just showed my son that video yesterday. I guess.
Oh wow.
Did you post it? How many days ago did you post it, Brian? A couple days ago, eh?
I went back there again today to find them, and they were gone. They weren't visual. They were gone. So.
How often?
It's a hard
do you
thing to see, right? Because they meet and then they just take off, right?
Every day.
Every day.
Amazing.
Sometimes today I went twice.
Oh, wow.
Hey, we're gonna have to take a road trip out there in California.
Anytime.
And meet with Mr. Gundy.
It sounds like we're gonna have to.
That was one of my favorite things about you, Brian Gundy, is that I seen that you were just up for herping with anybody, anytime, dude. Like I seen you with Brian. I seen you just show up at the same hill as Brian Kaufman and Emily one day, and they're like, "Oh, look who's here! It's Brian Gundy." That's what a coincidence.
Cusco and Kaufman.
It's like you can't stop Gundy from getting out there in the field. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, is it my turn now?
Yeah.
Come on, Brandon. Come on with it.
Okay. How do I handle hate? You're right, Mary. No one does have hate for me. I have never once how do I put this? So I'm a paratrooper in the Army, like right now, currently. Wow. Jump out of planes and kill terrorists.
You're Frogman.
That's my profession. No, Frogman, that's the Molineros.
That's a Navy.
Okay.
He's what is it?
That's why my brother's really into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the Marines are a branch of the Navy, and the first seals were frogmen. My
Okay.
adopted, so I'm adopted. So my adopted dad's dad was an actual like first frogman. Like
Oh,
one
wow.
of the OGs, like, yeah, hardcore. That was a hard dude. But so when people see me, I've even been told in my face, like, this is kind of intimidating. And I'm like, dude, I'm such a happy guy. Like, I look at these little cute, beautiful snakes that I could show you that come in every different color, all the cool patterns on them. You know, I do. So Oodles and Noodles on Instagram is just for business, right? That's just the ball python company. But I breed and sell the ball pythons and put that money directly into other animals that are on the threatened and endangered list. And it also funds my wildlife education for young people. So usually it's young people's families that try to give me some sort of hate, like going to a school and being in the gymnasium, and I'll have, you know, like say like an Indonesian blue tongue skink, and I'll have a couple ball pythons, and I'll have a couple colubrids or whatever. And it's like, oh, you know, it's a snake guy. He has a whole bunch of stuff. That lizard will take your finger off. It's an Indonesian blue tongue skink. You know, be serious. And I don't, you know, a younger me would have been like, okay, well, you can catch COVID or these hands. But an older, more mature me now knows that, like Alex says, right? That's just people's reaction to something they see. You know, it's ingrained in their mind. People have a few defense mechanisms that are a wall immediately to stop death, right? And this is stuff I've learned through military training, right? The first is fear, right? The first thing is fear. The second is pain. Pain, and they call it the trial and error knowledge. So the trial and error knowledge being like, oh, there's a snake that's poisonous. We all know that's wrong. And then bite you and then you die, right? So that's the trial and error knowledge. We know not to mess with said snake because it'll kill us. So that gives us pain, which gives us fear, which says that's bad. So what I really need to do is I'm cool, I'm chill, I put the smile on, you know, and I educate these people, and they really get offended when I use the word ignorant, right? And then I remember I asked this guy one time, I said, it's okay, man, you're ignorant. He's like, I'm ignorant? I'm not ignorant, you're ignorant. And I was like, well, okay, let me ask you this. What do you do? What's your job? He says, I'm a plumber. And I was like, okay, well, I'm ignorant because I don't know jack about plumbing, dude. Like nothing. I don't know nothing about plumbing, electrical, carpentry, masonry, trade-wise. I suck. I can tell you biology and genetic science all day. When it comes to trades, I'm no good. I'm not good with the hands, right? So and then that kind of like paused him for a second because I admitted that I'm ignorant about his profession. And it's sort of like allowed him to respect me enough to where he would actually hear me out about these animals, and then go figure by the end he's hoarding a corn snake, and you know, so he's like,
I was gonna say like you're like the word ignorant, like I don't think you're ignorant if you don't know anything about plumbing, unless you're trying to maybe say you do and you don't know.
So what I tell
you know what I mean?
Yeah, what I tell people is there's ignorance and there's stupidity, right? There's a difference.
If you're just assuming, that's just ignorant.
Yeah, it's okay to be ignorant because not everyone knows everything, right? But it's not okay to be stupid. And when you're being stupid, you're being that closed-minded individual who won't give the snakes a chance, who won't be open-minded and learn that they're not the vicious. I know you guys all see me.
So, but that's where, like, if you don't have the knowledge and you're okay with being honest and saying, I don't have the knowledge, I'm open to learn, that's not being ignorant, though. So you can not have the knowledge and not be ignorant about it at the same time.
Yeah, the definition of ignorant is just unknowing. Like, you just don't know. Yeah. It's okay to not know.
Knowledge.
Yeah, lack of knowledge. That's all the definition of ignorant is. So I really don't know anything about plumbing, dude. I just had a plumber.
Yeah.
Like,
that's okay.
Yeah, I don't. So I'm ignorant. When it comes
I can tell you for a fact that not everybody does, because a lot of people have called me before to go do things like that. Right? So
that's what I'm saying. It's all right to be ignorant because no one knows everything, right? But it's it's not okay to be stupid. So I'm open to the plumber coming in and showing me how to fix the problem, so I don't need to call him and pay a whole bunch of money to do it again. That man, once I admitted that I was ignorant in his profession, he then had a light of respect for me, because to him, I admitted something that offended him. So it was on the same level. And then
that honesty humbled him.
Yes, and then I educated him, and then he ended up holding a coral. What was it? I think coral snow, corn, and he's like, "Oh, these pinks are cool, and I like the ruby eyes, and the silvers are so bright." And you know what? I think I've sold him like 4 or 5 snakes, dude. And
Cool.
him and his
That's
kids and
super
his-
cool, man.
Yeah, and so I don't really get hate. To be honest, if I had to handle it, it would just be more or less like, I mean, you ain't
Cool about it.
Yeah, you ain't paying my bills. So I mean, who is
Now you start posting live feedings, that changes.
Yeah.
A little bit, maybe.
I know it did
Yeah.
for me.
A little bit.
I got a
That's,
little bit.
people's, again, the initial reaction on their opinion is an amazing thing, because if you look at a human from infancy to adulthood, we are a species of trial and error. So one time my niece stole a candy bar, right? So my niece steals a bar. I'm so mad at her. I make her go back to Walmart, return it. And when she came out, I didn't yell at her or anything. I just said, "Jeannie, I am so disappointed in you." And she was crushed, right?
Yeah.
Now, in her mind, if I would have let her get away with it and been like, "Oh, it's fine, it's a candy bar," right? That shows her that she can do something without being held accountable for her own actions. The people on the internet want to spew their opinion because they cannot be held accountable, in a face-to-face thing.
Oh yeah.
Right?
That's
And so,
interesting. Mhm.
and so, like, that's the truth, right? Is
Mhm.
put up a disclaimer. You could be like, "Hey, this is the deal. Live feeding, warning, live feeding. If you don't want live feeding, don't watch." And then finally show a live feeding of a juvenile reptile taking a frozen thawed off the tongs. And people lose their mind.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? But realistically, it's not a bad thing to see that, because when I hatched my first clutch of ball pythons, I could not find a video on how to establish hatchlings, right? On YouTube. I reached out to somebody for it, but that's something I wish I would have been able to see. So that education, even though it might churn people's stomachs, I get it. It's an educational thing that needs to be out there, and if you really want to look at it one way, I mean, have you ever looked at how the cows are killed that you eat, or the chickens are killed that you eat? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's a little bit hypocritical to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Guys, sorry, something happened to us? My whole entire screen froze.
No, you're good.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, all right. Well, I can hear you guys, so whatever. Wait, you guys
So,
stop.
Carrie, what gets your follow, and what makes you hit unfollow?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Damn.
Usually, I don't know. Kind of whatever sparks my attention, really. If someone has, when it comes to snakes, I guess, I like recently. I've started looking into other species of snakes. I like the herping stuff that's out there. So recently, I've been attracted to a lot of that. I'll go in, I'll look at it. If it's entertaining to me, like if it holds my attention. I'm somebody that loses attention fast. And if I see things that seem the same to me all the time, I'm like, okay, I've seen this. But yeah, I recently I've been liking the herping, the out in the wilderness kind of stuff. So I've been following a lot of that lately. And to unfollow, there's not a lot of stuff that I'll be like, I don't get offended when I see something I don't like. So I'm not like, oh, F this guy, he posted a live feeding video, F that, I'm out.
Either, yeah.
Like I'm not like that. So to get an unfollow, I guess if you're inactive, sometimes I'll scroll through all my all the people that I'm following, and if you didn't post something in 2 years or a year or something like that, I'll be like, okay, well, they're not active anymore, or they're out of it, so I'll unfollow. But outside of that, I don't know. I'm not into I'm not into trying to keep a numbers game, where I'm like, oh, I'm only gonna follow these people, or I'm only gonna follow this. Like, and on my Snake Lab page, I try to stick to snake content, because when I go on there, that's kind of what I'm looking to see what's going on in the scene, so to speak. But then on my personal page, I have all kind of I'll follow all kinds of stuff. But yeah, on the Snake Lab page, I mean, if it involves snakes and I follow you, I'll probably be a lifetime follower.
Okay, Mr. Gundy. Now I gotta say, I loved when every one of our guests followed me, but Mr. Gundy, that just made my month when I got your follow.
Oh, me too, definitely.
So, same question to you: what gets your follow, and what causes you to unfollow?
Well, I think the only one that I've unfollowed or is somebody that would sell me knives or something. I don't know. And me, if I go in and look at people's Instagram channels or whatever the term is, if they have a pied as in their series of photographs, I'm in. I want. If you have a pied in your collection, I want to see the photographs. So that's as simple as it is.
That's awesome. Hey, Justin.
Brandon, same question.
All right. What makes me hit follow or unfollow? I know, Bubba. So for me, I definitely will hit the follow. For me, it's pretty much two big things, right? Content and ethics are the two big things I really look for. So there's a lot of guys that like Alex follows and comments on his stuff, and they work with a lot of different species, and I love their content. I go follow them. More wildlife-based stuff. Again, I like all the animals, not just my dog's real bad now. But yeah, I like all the animals. A lot of zoo pages, a lot of conservation stuff. Of course, for business-wise, ball pythons pretty much just like Molinaro said, man, I need to see what's going on in the scene, who has what, because I'll probably be interested in buying it, because I just like to make cool snakes, man. Like, that's the big, I'm not in it for the money or the numbers. I just really, really like hatching a snake, dude. Like,
yeah.
Oh, it is the best feeling ever. You get them take the first shed and they get their first meal, and oh, dude, it's so good. And then when you sell them to someone and they use that to make a cool snake, and then you buy one of those offspring that's your grandbabies and put it back to something even cooler you have down the line, and I don't know, it's just such a wonderful thing. So ball python people and a lot of wildlife conservation, that's where my ethics come in. Wildlife conservation, like, if I wasn't getting out of the Army after 10 years to breed ball pythons, I would go over to Africa and hunt down poachers. That's what I would do for a job.
Wow.
Yeah, gotta put my skill set to use.
I would love to do that too. Still, right?
So if the girlfriend is willing to take care of my collection for a year, I do have all my own personal weapons and kit, and I would gladly go over to Africa for a year.
I'm going with you, bro.
Yeah, Alex, I would take you, man. I would absolutely take you. Me and Alex.
I am the nicest guy you'll ever meet, but if you threaten to kill a snake in front of me, I'm, most people know I'm 6'7", I'm like 280.
Alex is a big guy.
The last person you want to see angry, you're about to.
6'7"?
I lose sense of
he's big.
3 minutes until until you realize that it is not okay to harm, a rattlesnake or any animal.
Yeah, man. So
Alex, I'm only half your size.
We can work together and take it.
Yeah. So I tell the guys that work for me, right? We have this saying, right, in the airborne community, LGOP, little groups of paratroopers, because when you jump into a combat zone, you don't really know who's you're going to meet up with. You get a group of guys together, and whoever's the highest ranking there is in charge, LGOP, little group of paratroopers. So I always told my guys, we're strong alone, but we're stronger together. So the most effective weapon is teamwork. Just like in the reptile community, the most effective weapon is the community. Straight up. In a positive light. And manner.
Yes.
There you go.
So
100%.
Now what makes me hit the
Justin,
unfollow button?
What gets your follow?
So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
I don't think Brandon finished his question yet.
Okay, real quick. What makes me hit the unfollow button is, again, inactivity.
I'm sorry. Everybody cut out.
No, you're good, Mary. Inactivity, very unethical. Like if I see posting, I'm sure you guys all saw the video of what Nerd put out yesterday. No? Oh, shit. Alex, I sent you that video. There's like a dude like... Dude, it was like people were spearing berms to death. Like, okay, big YouTubers, like young kids who do YouTube for a job, they like caught a berm and then they put it in a sewer and pretended they were herping or out at whatever, pull it out of the sewer and then take the same berm a couple days later and pretend they found it and it's like a different snake. And then they like harpoon it to death. It's really messed up. And then like at the very end, this one's really rough. There's a guy in a foreign country and this happens in the same spot. You can tell it's the same sandbank and everything where he feeds his retics puppies and other things like that. And it's really, really messed up, right? So unethical posting makes me hit the unfollow button. Inactivity, unethical posting, and no, that's pretty much it. Just those two things.
I have a question with that. So as far as like you said about the killing the berms and all that, or the hunting, how do you guys feel about that? Like in Florida, where they allow, where they have, they pay you for hunting them because it's messing up. They are messing up the ecosystem down there. How do you guys? What's your feel about that?
Can I answer that? Do you guys?
Yeah,
care?
You go first. You go first.
Here's my thought. It makes me sick to my stomach that people would obviously there's an ecosystem that is being damaged and understandably so, and something has to be done. But in a manner that people are using it, they're taking these snakes and they're killing them in a way that's bringing attention to themselves, and that absolutely makes me sick. Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to be an animal person and you're pushing the animals behind you while your face is the forefront, you need to get the hell out of the picture. Because if the animals are not at the top of the agenda, right at the forefront, then people are going to see right through you. And what these guys are doing is they're trying to reenact stage pythons, like, oh, look at us, we're these vigilantes, we're saving the world, we're saving the ecosystem. But all they're trying to do is get another 10,000 likes on their video. Because they're a humane way to deal with invasive species. And I understand this because obviously it's devastation, it's devastating to the ecosystem. So it's not by blow darts, it's not by harpooning. Obviously, if you are a man of integrity, you're going to go in that freaking water, you're going to grab that damn snake, and whatever humane way possible, I don't know, because I don't know if I could find it in me to kill a snake. Now, if there's somebody who's willing to do it, I guess, if they have to. But me personally, I don't think I could, just take a snake's life because, if somebody else is stronger in that area, by all means, do what you have to do. But me personally, but again, it makes me sick that people are freaking using animals to grow themselves. And it literally, it's like, this is what we as reptile people need to be talking about and focusing, is that there's so much crap going on and people, all they care about is likes and views. And it's like, screw these people. They need to get out and they need to be put on blast. You can't just let them go hidden. People need to be put on air because what they're doing is literally ruining everything for us who actually love animals. Because now guess who's going to us, you, me, all of us, we're going to be the shitty people because people are like, oh, look at you. You know, it's like, no, we're not all the same. By no means. Yeah, it just makes me feel nice.
Here's, I heard I was backstage for a little bit, so I heard pretty much everything. And one of the biggest things with the invasive species in Florida is the fact that, and I've heard Dave Kaufman speak about this, is the fact that we can't send them back to their country, or else these snakes have parasites and things that are here that are on them. If we send them back there, they become an invasive species in their own country, in their own place now, because they've almost been contaminated by the wilderness here in where we live in Florida and stuff in North America, right? So that's the thing. We as much as we wish we could not have to get rid of them there and send them back humanely, even, you know, like, wouldn't we all wish we could why can't we just send them back there, you know what I mean, without having to kill them and stuff? And there's just not enough people, I don't think, who actually know, are educated and stuff, and not enough people support. Like, there is a ton of support, so don't get me wrong there, but you know what I mean, like, to take care of these animals and stuff, you know, to spend the money to house these animals and feed them, the wild ones, and we're catching them and stuff, right? And so I mean, at the end of the day, it's tough. It's a really tough topic to talk about, I think, you know, and there has to be a better middle way. And people like those people on Nerd and stuff that he was just talking about, like they got to go, number one, you know, because that's absolutely doing nothing. And for anybody who likes and subscribes and supports people like them, I think they're also a problem, to be honest, you know. So
he blow darted an iguana.
They need to be educated.
Put it in scalding hot water and watched it. And
that was terrible, man.
And I'm just like, horrible. If I were there, I would literally wring his freaking neck.
And it was alive?
I would literally be like,
yeah, Brian, it was alive.
It was alive, man. It was just cold.
Hey, Gandhi,
it was
I'm
cold.
Send you the video,
so he thought he could warm it back up by scalding it. It was pretty terrible to watch.
Wow, they were laughing the whole time.
Yeah, dude,
yeah, and they were laughing the whole time. You're right, Benny. Yeah.
So you know the irony.
I'm starting to get fired up. I
don't know if you guys know, but in the state of California, they give me two options as a snake removal: either one, kill the snake, or two, remove it back on somebody's property. So guess what? I'm left with. If I take the snake and put it back on somebody's property, they're going to kill it. So you know what I do? I say, F California and their stupid laws of how they deal with snakes. Me being, caring about the snake's well-being, I'm going to go and I'm going to find a secluded place that the snake is going to feel comfortable. And guess what? It's not on their property. It is completely away. So I'm willing to break the freaking law to make sure that these snakes can get another chance. And that just makes me sick to see people like, oh yeah, I'm saving the ecosystem by, cooking. I'm like, dude, I can't even watch it anymore. It just makes me.
You know, and also too, like there's, I mean, hopefully I don't get in trouble for saying something like this, but I mean, like CNN. And within Nerd's video, kind of what he brought up was the fact that, and Justin, you know Jay from Prehistoric Pets, I know that. And they kind of put him in the limelight there because CNN covered a story, the news covered a story saying that he was the bad guy. And I think Nerd was trying to, show that there's a lot worse out there that people don't know about that should be on the news. And like, let's not get like it twisted, like Jay's here trying to support his facility and everything like that, and there's people out there like this who are corrupting our image, who are actually corrupting our image. Jay's posting those bite videos, but Kevin, I really look up to Kevin, and so to hear his side about business and stuff, and how even he's in the same boat a lot of times with Jay, just with the upkeep and stuff. And sometimes those videos help, but that's not all Jay's posting about. His videos about getting bites. And that's where the news is getting it twisted. And, and definitely like the people who are doing good and stuff, and they're getting misrepresented in the hobby, and in the industry. So.
Well, his thumbnail, what they were talking about on Nerd was his thumbnail, where he's got it retic with his mouth open right there by his face.
So what? So then should they not be? So then they should not be posting videos. So what we really do see is the horrible things.
Well, it's like, what's their,
Sorry.
why are they posting? What are you trying to gain? Do you want attention? You want to see people just, you get bit by a snake? Like, what is their motive? And that's
Like maybe if people stopped and protested, like in a protest even to stop, because what Jay is doing and what everybody else here is doing, and everybody's providing good content with ethics, like Brandon was saying, and and ethics involved, right? And so, and those people are getting shown in the wrong light. Meanwhile, there's people out there. So if we stop showing the good content, maybe more people will see the horrible content, And I don't know, like the thumbnail thing really gets me because like, oh, it's all about a thumbnail. I don't really agree with that. Like, because if you're just putting thumbnail, like these guys, I don't even see any of that stuff. The stuff that Kevin was posting, I never saw that. And I follow so many people on YouTube and I watch so much YouTube and I don't see that stuff. All I see is good content. So, but it was very nice reminder for me, for Kevin to bring it up, for me to actually see what actually goes on. He brought it to the attention, to the light, kind of,
That's why I try to find a balance. I try to find that balance because I think a lot of people who own snakes, even pet people, they don't really get to enjoy a snake as much as they,
think they can.
They're used to the snake being, because the snake's in the hide, they feed it the mouse, and that's it. It's kind of like, well, then what I like to do is try to give them other ideas, like, hey, why don't you try to do this with your snake and find enjoyment this way, or why don't you try to do this, and it opens ideas to, okay, it's more to keeping the snake just inside of a cage in the hide feeding it a rat and then it sheds.
Hey Justin,
you know what I mean? It's kind of like, if we can get that, yeah.
Sorry, but I was gonna ask you specifically. We were talking about how people get people to like switch their mentality. You must have to do that all the time, don't you? Because the models and stuff you get, they're girls. Are they scared or what? You gotta educate them. When you're putting a snake around their body, these women, right? You know what I'm saying?
To be honest with you, I think because. Yeah, 100%. I think because they see how I interact with the snakes, it makes them feel a lot more comfortable. And it speeds the process up because they say, well, he's here, so I know everything's going to be okay.
That's cool, man.
I mean, compared to somebody who, before they met the person, they didn't really see his passion. And then they say, well, I don't really see you passionate about it. Now I'm supposed to trust you to put a 9-foot snake on me, like, you know what I mean? So,
right
before they meet me, they see, okay, this, he knows what he's doing. But that goes back to how I interact with them on a pet level. That goes back to me letting them drink water out of a bowl out of my hand, or me sitting on the couch with them, letting them lay on the bed with me, and then that opens the idea of, so that's why I do some of that stuff, because then it opens the idea to this. It can be an actual pet instead of a reptile.
Justin, you make your snake look more like a family member as opposed to which I think is awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
My favorite video you posted is when you're feeding that snake and it bolted out of the tank and you jumped up on your bed, bro. You're up on your bed. I thought that was pretty funny. But at the same time,
cutting in and out.
We really need that. We need that a lot.
Yeah, we do.
Especially because a lot of the people who were trying to sell our snakes are to people who don't ever had a snake before, buying a snake for the first time.
Yeah.
They need to understand that they can get an enjoyment and enrichment themselves as a person having this animal as a pet, just like a dog or a cat, Not the same kind, but you still get a different kind enrichment and enjoyment out of it.
You guys know I do educational presentations in schools, birthday parties. And one of the things that I tell my audience is, the first thing is I'll ask the audience, even before I start talking about whatever, I'll ask the audience to raise their hand if they like puppies. And and then I'll just tell them if they like puppies, you're gonna love snakes. And from that moment on, my job is to take those people that are afraid and now teach them that these snakes, including the Burmese that I bring, are just like puppies, and they are, you know.
Yeah.
So it's if you can kind of change that whole outlook, you know, going from a snake being a dangerous, aggressive animal to something that isn't aggressive at all, and you know.
I see that in your videos a lot too, Brian. When you took your Burmese out and you had it on in your garden wall there, and you're talking about how you just love this animal, man, and, and it is a puppy to you, yeah.
You know, even the wild snakes I catch, I can't even remember the last time I was bit. So these are, you know, and it's all about fear, or really the lack of it. As long as these animals are not afraid, then you're pretty much in good shape. It's when they get scared, you know, that
and really it only takes a little bit of research and knowledge to really understand these animals. And how they react and how they feel and stuff. You can see it visually. So, I mean, honestly, I have 2 dogs and I don't get as much. I can't understand what they're thinking visually a lot of the time, but you know, I know they're in good spirits and stuff, you know, but
sure.
And they're happy all the time. Their tails are wagging. That's about as visual as it gets.
That's
I don't know if they're upset or not or anything else, you know, like so.
Hey,
really, snake. I can understand the snake a lot more. Go ahead, Alex.
Go.
Oh, go.
I got. But
yeah, go save snakes.
Really appreciate each one of you guys, and definitely thank you,
Alex. You got your cup?
All right, Alex.
Thanks,
Let's
Alex.
get that picture in.
Nice meeting you.
Take care, Alex.
He's getting his cup.
There you go.
Thank
you.
Later, buddy. I love that guy.
Yeah.
That guy's is passionate about what he does.
Yeah, he was so he was going through, and I'm sure he won't care about me talking this. He was going through a pretty rough patch in his life a little over a year ago. And like we talk pretty often. Like I have his phone number, he has my phone number. And he was like a manager at a furniture store or some shit. And I was like, man, why don't you just take what you love and make it your job?
Yeah.
Why don't you just do snake removal? Like I got a couple buddies here that retired Army that stayed around Fort Sill, Oklahoma. And that's what they do. They just roll around. I mean, they live off their retirement, but they just roll around and save snakes. And so I got him a custom Oodles and Noodles snake hook. Like I got it through Venom Life. And I sent it to him, and he was like, all right, I guess I'm committed now.
That's cool.
And sometimes, man, we just need that positive push, dude.
Yeah.
To do the great things.
Yeah.
For real.
That's awesome, though.
Hell yeah,
That's
dude.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Joe, you're muted, bro.
I tried to unmute, but
I thought Benny muted me.
No, it was not me.
You're good.
Did it all on its own. I swear, it just popped up muted. I didn't even touch it.
I tried to unmute you, and it tells me there that I can't unmute you. That you have to unmute yourself.
Sorry, man. But so what was this?
So let me ask you guys a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Justin.
Go ahead.
How do you guys feel about being transparent as far as keeping reptiles? Because I feel as a keeper or a content creator or a guy who's, you know, showing people about these reptiles, that I think it's important to show all aspects. You know, a lot of people, I feel, only show certain parts of keeping a reptile. Somebody goes buy one, takes it home, and they experience the part that you didn't show, and they're like, oh, hell no, like, you didn't show this part. You know what I mean? And then we give people bad experiences, you know, and I take a lot of heat for showing some of the stuff that I show. I mean, it's crazy, but I feel like I have to be responsible and say, hey, there's some good times and there's some bad times. You know, there's some safe times. There's some not
I got a hot
I
seat question for you, dude.
before you get fired.
So I'm very, very, very transparent with showing how I keep and breed everything, but I also have a pretty, I guess, how would I say this? So being in the Army, I've traveled with my snakes all over.
Oh,
So
wow.
I've had to learn different keeping methods.
Wow.
So for example, right, in the Northeast, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it's cold up there, man.
Oh,
So-
Massachusetts.
Oh yeah, you're up in
Massachusetts over
Mass.
here.
It's
Wow.
cold.
Right.
So the metal didn't work as good as enclosed PVC,
Right.
and even insulation on top of that. So bubble wrap with foil tape because air holds temperature. Water bottles all over the place because water holds temperature better than air. Then Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Okay, now I'm by the ocean. You know what that means? There's salt in the air.
Yep.
Salt is a dehumidifier as well as more salt in the water. So now the water's harder. So when it comes to cleaning stuff, I'm already cleaning with really hard mineral water. So I had to figure out how to, I need to soften the water or do reverse osmosis and then run a humidifier in there. Now I'm in Oklahoma. Low humidity, always windy, really hot. Now I got to run an air conditioner. Now I got to run more fans. Things like, so for ball pythons, right?
Yeah.
So a ball python's digestion response begins at 86 degrees Fahrenheit. An autoimmune response begins between 88 and 90 as an ectotherm. That's why the rule of thumb is hot spot at 90, right? So that's important. But like when people see moldy coconut substrate, they're like, well, why is that moldy? I'll be like, all right, to be honest, nothing's going to be perfect all the time. But realistically, from a biology perspective, if you keep that animal too clean, because we've taken them out of the wild, so they are less prone to pesticides, less prone to predators, and protozoas and bacterias, their autoimmune response becomes weak. So the moment you go to a reptile show and come back and don't shower and change your clothes and come into your snake room and you have a snake with weak autoimmune response, it's more likely for that snake to get sick. So actually having a little piece of moldy coconut in there isn't so bad. And not over a long period of time, obviously, it's mold, right? But within a spectrum. So I'm very transparent for how I keep, but I'm also very science-based on why I do things.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
We
I
know
think it's great. I think it's great that you guys are transparent. I think we all should be transparent. I think a lot of people, just like, you and I, when we talk, go on live, sometimes we're so afraid what people perceptions of how we act, how we talk, that we kind of just, do things a certain way. I think when we become ourselves and we show people that this is who we are, this is what happens. This is what goes on in the reptile industry. Like, I'm not gonna hide it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I think it's great because in reality we get to see the overall aspect of it, the whole spectrum, and not just one-sided or what's good, what's bad. Because we're lying to ourselves and we're lying to people that have not been in the industry, thinking that it's all good and fun and nothing bad's gonna come out of it. I think it's great.
The community can be ruthless. I've seen it.
Oh yeah.
And I think
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, and that's people being transparent. And then you see people commenting on their posts and blasting them in their stories. And it's like I said, ruthless. How do you handle somebody that is being completely blasted and annihilated by other people in the community, and you think they just made a mistake? You put your name behind that person.
I'll tell you what
and
happened to me.
you become.
Go ahead, Justin.
Go ahead, Justin.
So I'm sure you guys seen the video where the chameleon ate the worm, the boa's head. I don't know if everybody's seen that video.
Yeah.
Where the chameleon ate the worm off the boa's head.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
So I posted that video, and I've never got so much hate so fast that
Why?
it put me in a down mood where I got sad for a couple of days. Right?
Wow.
And I'm sitting here and I'm like, wait a minute. Half these people never had a reptile. Right. I'm like, half of these people never had a reptile before. The other half don't even know what's going on in the video. I said, okay, time out. Let this affect me a little bit too much when I know my intentions were never bad.
Yeah.
Right.
And from that point on, I just said, you know what? I'm gonna post what I post, and whoever doesn't like it, whoever likes it, and that's that.
Man, you have good content. I like your content.
I think a lot of these people that come at you, I think they feed off that attention. They want you to respond back. They want you to attack them, and they feed off that.
And start a thing.
Yeah.
You know, and all of a sudden your comments are this long.
Yeah. Now the attention's on you and them. The best thing to do is completely ignore them, and that's it. I mean, let them fight their own battle. You know, let them fight themselves.
Or you can get a smart TV, because smart TVs, they don't show content or like, you know, the negative or even the positive comments and stuff.
No, I mean, but when you receive a comment on in your messages,
Yeah, no, I know.
I mean, it stings. Sometimes it hurts, but the best thing to do is just to let it be.
Yeah. There's been so many times. There's been so many times where I'm like, where I type it, you know, you type it out, and then you read it a couple times, you're like, all right, that's good enough, and then you erase it. And I don't know, I find that soothing. Like, it doesn't help you gotta ignore the ignorant. It doesn't help to fight back, because, you know, like you said, you just end up with a big long of you going back and forth, and you're not gonna change anybody's mind. Like, they're just idiots, you know.
I like that. I like that.
No, you're not.
You get to vent, but then just let it go.
Let it go. Get it out of your system. Write it down. You know, make all your points, and then be like, you know what? It's not worth my.
It's not worth.
Forget about. Don't hit the enter button. Just leave it alone.
Yeah. No, it's not worth it at all. Yeah. Not at all.
Because I, to be honest, when I first got into the ball python community, was on Facebook, and man, I hated the community. I was like, everybody is a bunch of assholes. Like, everything they argued with you for. So I got out of it altogether. And then when I got on Instagram, I was like, oh, I've met a lot more of the breeders, and everybody was pretty cool on Instagram. So that's why I kind of found my home on Instagram more. But man, I hated the community when I first started. I was like, no, these people are all jerks. Like, they're all like snobs. And like you guys were saying, there's more than one way to keep the snakes and breed the snakes, and like it's not everywhere's different. You know, I'm in El Paso. It gets, you know, it could be 100 degrees in my garage sometimes. You know, I have to open the doors, put the air conditioning and stuff. But you know, I got to do things different than people. You know, like you said, North Carolina or Maine or wherever.
Yeah, dude.
We're all different, you know. And that's the nice thing about social media is you could share those experiences and share that knowledge. But
people
you don't
learn from it, dude.
Yeah.
You don't gotta be jerks. It's and you know, it's sneaky. You know, it's like it should be a fun thing. It's not that serious. You know, like take what you do seriously, but you don't have to take yourself so seriously. You know?
Yeah.
I agree.
Have fun with it.
I concur.
I think you can laugh at yourself. I think, you know, Mo, Carrie, you can laugh at yourself, joke around, and do things. I think when it hurts is when you intentionally do it for something good and somebody sees something wrong with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's what it hurts you. I think. As Justin was saying, I think that's what it hurts him, because it wasn't like he was doing something bad. It was something he thought was, you know, fun or you know, and also like he's hurt by it.
Right.
I think that's what it comes down to.
And we never. I mean, I know I don't. I never post anything that I think is going to be controversial. Like, I don't post something thinking, ooh, people are gonna think this is crazy, or people, you know. I mean, I just post stuff that's, you know, I like her, and I think most people do. But again, like I said before, I think it's everybody assumes too quick that you're doing something wrong, or they're, you know, like you said, it's not usually someone that owns reptiles or anything.
That
like
word, assuming.
Mhm.
So
Right.
I don't know.
Man.
Do they ever tell you in the Marine Corps the to assume just makes an ass of you and me?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's it, man. I would say the same shit in the
100%
Army,
true.
dude. Yep,
Yep,
100%.
that's all it is.
that
I
is
kind of
true.
missed that.
Yeah.
Can you guys repeat that again? So I don't know if maybe the viewers might not have heard that or not.
Oh yeah. Assume just is means to make an ass of you and me. Assume.
All right. All right. There, we got that clear. So,
Yep.
yeah.
That's
Now,
true, man.
well, Mr. Gundy, Brian, I wanted to ask you this because you're old school, okay?
Big time.
Yeah. So, what is it that we do as a new breeder, as newer breeders, do that you yourself, like, don't do, or basically laugh at us like, what is he doing that for?
Oh, that's
Sure,
Because
I think for me, it's the humidity side of things. I hear everybody talking about humidity, and I get phone calls from people all over the country because I put my phone number out there for them to call to ask for advice or whatever. And I've had people almost crying because they can't get their humidity right. And I just tell them, well, as far as I'm concerned, it's not that of a big of a deal. Spray your snake down when it's ready to shed and be done with it,
Yeah.
Go in and spray them every day.
Well, I'm
Keep
just
it up. Whatever you got to do.
But if I just don't, I have my animals as dry as I can possibly have them. And that goes back with all of my experience as a vet tech, racing, and everything else I've ever done. It's all about dry. Keep it dry as possible.
Yeah.
And my animals are as healthy right now as they can be. They're just blooming. And to me, it's all about dry. Never do I ever let anything get. The only time my animals get any kind of humidity is just before the shed. That's it. Otherwise,
hey Brian,
newspaper, dry as it can be.
Brian, what I was gonna say is we try to keep ours like on a constant humidity. Sometimes it dries out, and then I'll change it right away to get fresh humidity again, or I'll toss it around and mix it up.
If you guys do the research, you'll find out that corn snakes come from the Everglades, right? You can catch corn snakes in the Everglades.
Yeah.
If you guys are colubrid breeders, why don't we have a big conversation about keeping colubrids on humid environments? So when I switched from colubrid to ball python, this is 20 years ago. Nobody's talked about humidity, so I never even thought. I never entered my mind.
The only humidity in colubrids I ever heard.
So why, if the humidity level underground in Ghana, Africa, is the same humidity level of underground in the Everglades, then what's the issue?
Yep.
Okay.
So I laugh. To me, it's funny.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. That's really interesting, actually.
I just learned stuff from Morelia keepers, like people who breed Morelia stuff. They're
What's
like,
that?
dude, people who breed like Morelias.
What's a Morelia?
Like carpets.
Okay.
Yeah, Morelia stuff. They're like, just give it an oversized water bowl. Like, do not underestimate the power of an oversized water bowl. Because humidity, people think they spray their substrate and they worry about humidity. Humidity don't got shit to do with the substrate. Humidity is the amount of water in the air.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Put the water on the hot side, and you'll be okay.
So if you flood their tub, then the evaporation of that flooding is going to create more molecules, at least a higher level of humidity.
Yeah.
And so if all I need is to increase the humidity during shedding, then that's the only time I'm ever concerned about it.
Yeah, I spray the actual snake when they're going to.
The part that I was going to say is it's
here.
By keeping the humidity at all times, it's a little bit tougher. You have to know and track your snakes, shed cycles, and know when they're going to shed, right?
No, I don't do that either. No,
I don't do that.
Dude, if they're going to shed, I just spray them.
Let them shed.
That's it.
During the breeding season, I'm gonna you know, that post-ovulation shed is very important.
That's
because
the only one I care about.
Soon, but other than that, they shed when they shed. They, you know,
yeah.
I used to keep track of everything, every shed, every poop, everything. Now I don't even have a card on it.
Yeah, dude. No. The only things I keep
Yeah,
track of is like, when do they lay, their post-lay weight, the clutch weight, and that's pretty much all I care about.
I don't even care about the clutch weight. It is what it is, you know.
Yeah,
I don't wait either.
If they're gonna what do you call it? I always just tell people you can only show the female the male and give them food. If they're gonna go, they're gonna go. If they don't want to, they're not. Simple as that. They know their bodies better than
That's
you.
like a friend of ours said something similar to us. A guy who is in our local area here. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. So whenever I hear people concerned about humidity, I mean, think about it. Every one of you have your humidity levels. My guess would be that they're all different. Yep. Every single one of you, your humidity levels are all different.
They're different. They're different.
That's the right number. Well, to me, if someone's getting a lot of anxiety in taking care of their ball python, especially beginners, because that's who I a lot of times talk to are beginners because I want to help them. And they're literally scared to death because they can't get their humidities right. So I just tell them, forget the humidity. I don't even have a humidifier. No. So
we don't either.
Throw it. I mean, because it really does cause a lot of stress and anxiety, especially to people that are new at this and are trying to get that humidity level where everybody says it was supposed to be 60% or something. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So remember, if a corn snake doesn't need humidity, a ball python shouldn't need humidity either. The humidity level
I spray
it. In the Everglades is about the same outside as it is in Ghana. But the key is these animals are subterrestrial. The ball pythons are. So it's not the humidity out in the ambient humidity.
Right.
It's
the ground.
It's
ground
humidity
underground humidity in those pockets space. Yeah.
So I hope I answered your question.
That's good.
I think that's one of
I like it.
Very good.
The only thing I would probably touch on that is that what about a blood python or say like a boa constrictor?
I have boas and I don't do
it the same thing for them, Brian?
Other than dump their water bowl when they're just about to shed.
Right. Okay.
Dump the water bowl and that's it.
And as we keep boas, and one of the things I heard about boas is that it's pretty much the same thing. Like it doesn't need to be super wet and stuff, and it can be dry almost.
Boas are arboreal, so their level of humidity that they're going to see in the wild is totally different than a subterrestrial snake. So
yeah, like a ground
about a boa that maybe they need a little bit more humidity. I don't know, but when I switched from colubrids to ball pythons, I didn't make any changes at all, and my animals are doing great.
Okay. So, I always treated boas as like a semi-arboreal.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So yeah. Ball pythons completely ground dwelling animals, I think, to be honest. And I can say that. I just built a snake perch, and to put a ball python, I have to babysit that thing up there, or else it's ready to drop to the ground.
Sure.
I'm telling you, like it's going straight down. It wants to be on the ground. It does not like being in the tree. Half of my snakes, the ball pythons, they don't like it. My boas, they'll climb up to the tallest part of the tree.
Sure.
And they'll be very content and comfortable up there. But the ball pythons, I know that they don't like being up on a perch like that. You know, so it's just from firsthand experience myself. So,
but that's my answer to that question.
No, great answer, dude.
I've got one final answer for the guests, and then I think we're going to go on to mentors, and then we're going to go to hot seat questions.
Cool.
My final question: one piece of advice, not necessarily for reptile people, but what piece of advice did you follow, and would you wish more people would follow? Mr. Gundy, let's start with you.
Okay, Mary, what was the question again?
Yeah.
Piece of advice, words of wisdom that maybe you heard at one point that changed your life, or that you can pass on other generations. What would that be?
I'll tell you guys a real quick little story. I don't know if you guys know Bob Applegate. He's a colubrid breeder, world renowned.
Yeah.
Written several books and stuff.
Yeah,
But
I have a couple of his
are
books.
pretty good friends. And years ago, before I got started in ball pythons, he and I were discussing techniques in incubation of colubrid eggs. And so we started talking, and he was explaining to me his technique. And I go, hey, Bob, no disrespect, but that's a little unorthodox, your technique. And he goes, well, yeah, that may be true, but it works. And as soon as he said that, I thought the lights went on. And then, to tell you the truth, that's all I needed to hear. It was like manna from heaven, you know. It was because it didn't matter what he did or what I did. All that mattered is that the results. We were successful with the results. So I think if we can get away from somebody doing things a certain way and maybe it's a little bit different than the way we do it, hey, the bottom line is it's as long as it works, just keep doing it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Very good.
Carrie, how about you?
I got shivers when I just heard that.
That's awesome.
I would say something along the same lines as Brian just said. I always like to say experiment, fail, learn, and repeat.
There you go.
No, if something's not working, that's what it's all about, experimenting, trying it out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, okay, let's make an adjustment. And the second thing is have fun with it. Like I said before, it's snake breeding. It's ball pythons. We're trying to make new things. It should be something enjoyable. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's fun. It's fun stuff. It's not something we should, I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people get too crazy, too serious over it,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think that these animals are super exotic, super hard to take care of and stuff, but it's really, I think it's pretty simple.
It is.
It's very simple, to be honest.
Very
You go out and you just spend a little bit of time learning, and if you find somebody who's a good teacher, good at, there's tons of us out there. There's tons of people out there. I mean, not me, but I mean,
and most people are happy to help too. I'm always
exactly.
Questions, help out, friendly about it.
Same.
Yeah.
How about you? Can you hear me?
My first piece of advice is to read. Yeah, is to read and never stop learning. That's so important. None of us know everything. So even if I sit here and listen to Brian or anybody, you can learn something from everyone. Everyone has something to teach. And another piece of advice would be, don't be afraid. I know a lot of things that I do go against what the reptile community is used to, and it's not that it's wrong. It's just it's not done that way, and it hasn't been done that way for 20 years. So now people are saying, "Hey, I didn't know you could do it like that." Don't be afraid. Please don't be afraid, and just keep your intentions pure. Just stay pure with your intentions, and you'll be all right.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Brandon?
Go ahead.
So mine, I guess, would be don't be afraid to fail. Right? I tell the guys that work for me, fail is an acronym. It means first attempt in learning. Do not be afraid to fail. I myself love failure.
There you go.
It shows me where I'm weak, and then I can reinforce that weakness. I can fix that breach.
That's an opportunity.
That's right. That is right. The difference between the pupil and the master is the master has failed more times than the pupil has ever even tried. So don't be afraid to fail. If you're going to invest in a big project, if it's something expensive, if you believe in it, invest in it. Don't be afraid to fail.
You know, we all go to the same school. It's called the College of Hard Knocks.
That's right. That's right, Gundy. You got it, brother.
I love that. I love that, man.
And that's the truth, man. And we can learn from each other, just like Justin was saying. Just don't be afraid to fail, because everyone on this screen has failed at something, and we are all still here.
Yeah.
And tomorrow is not guaranteed for any of us.
Yeah,
and
sure.
don't look back, because the time that you lost, it ain't thinking about you. You can only drive forward. Don't be afraid to fail, and always drive forward. That's my advice.
Dude, you nailed that, bro.
That's awesome. I think all you guys,
inspired right now.
No, those are great inspiration from you guys, you know, and you know we all learn from each other, and obviously we need the each other to help motivate one another, because these are kind of things in the community that we need that will, you know, help each other grow and to move forward, you know, and appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who else is next?
Vinny,
Ma'am?
you want to give the mentor choices?
Sure.
Actually, I got something for Brian and Gundy though. Brian, you got kids?
Yes. And now I have a granddaughter. And my daughter just had a baby.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah.
My question to you is, now do your kids think you're as cool as we think you're cool? You know, like,
Or do they hang out with you? You actually are.
I gotta save that for the hot seat, Owen.
No, I just want to know, because that's not one of the hot seat, but
You just had to know, Brian.
Yeah, my
I
kids
wanna know.
think I'm real cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just
you
wanna
know
know
what? No, it's an interesting question, because you always get those actors like The Rock, and you know he sung the song for his kids. He's a kids movie, right? And those kids, they still don't believe in The Rock. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I'd like to hear from The Rock himself. If he messages me, he's like, my daughter does actually now think I'm the guy who sings the song, you know. But so shout out to The Rock if he ever watches this, I guess. Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Dude,
Hey.
if he does, hit me up, bro. I would love to go to the gym with you.
I mean, I don't think he's coming to my gym personally, Brandon, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm in Canada, so I don't know how often he comes up here, but
No.
I think all of you guys have a better chance at this one. I mean,
if he
honestly,
sees
Justin's
this,
got a good chance of getting into that industry, eh, Justin? Is that where you're going? You're going into the movie industry, eh, Justin?
All I want to.
Wouldn't that be great for you, though? I mean, are we ready for those hot seat questions, Owen? I don't know.
No, he's got the other thing first. He's got the
But yeah,
The mentor.
no, for real.
Benny's got his question.
That's what I think, anyway.
So
Go ahead,
you know, when this whole thing started, we came to talking about mentors, right?
Mhm.
Everybody would like to have a mentor, or that one guy they wish they can learn from. So we thought we'd make a segment on who would you want your mentor to be, right? But we've generated a list.
Mhm.
There's a list of 5, right, Owen?
5 people. Yeah.
So
Can we go?
The list will change as time goes, but for now, we want to see what everyone's response to this is.
We
And
need to take our choice of 5.
no, we have a list of 5.
Okay.
But
you can only pick one.
You can only pick one.
Okay.
If you had, but it's only for the ball python. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So obviously we have Brian Barczyk, Kevin McCurley. I'm sorry.
Ozzy,
JKR, and Billy.
And Billy, yeah.
So if you guys had a choice to pick one, who would it be?
And why?
And why?
JKR.
Okay, Mr. Gandhi.
I was gonna say, hey Mary, who are we gonna start with? But Gundy, Mr. Gundy's already got it down.
Yeah, when you think about a guy that's successful, I love, not only his animals and all that, but his demeanor. He's just a real easygoing guy. You're not going to rattle him. He's not going to boast. He's pretty humble dude. And so, and all those other guys I'm sure Ozzy's pretty much the same way. But Justin is I think he's just in a different level, in a different place than most of us.
I feel like he came from a different place too. He did things different than most breeders do things, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course. Well, you look at Miguel.
Nobody held back 10 years of snakes.
What's that? What's that?
Everybody's starting out and they're trying to create snakes and sell snakes. And then you got somebody like Justin who held back everything, comes out 20 years later with everything.
That's
you can create anything you want.
90% of the snakes in my collection are holdbacks.
Are they? Yeah. So there we go. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Okay. Well, so that's the way to go, I guess. Maybe I think I'm wrong.
That's what works for me.
Oh, I'm a hoarder, dude. I like to keep what I make.
That's
just being honest, dude.
You know what? Now we're all being honest. Can we just go through with this? How did
what about you, Brandon?
Yeah.
Shit.
He already said he's a hoarder. He holds everything back.
I do hold everything back. Out of those 5,
okay.
I agree with Brian Gundy that Justin is on a level above everybody, 100%. A level most people will absolutely never reach. But I'm going to go with Kevin McCurley. And I'm going to go with Kevin McCurley because Kevin McCurley has forgot more about herpetoculture than I will ever learn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that dude is the first dude to really come out with something about socializing large lizards to an actual, I wouldn't say science, but a Kevin McCurley science, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually experimented. From what I hear, and Kevin, if you're watching this, don't get pissed, dude. From what I hear, he is right now the only person who has Bolin's python breeding down pat. The only person, but he's not talking about it for reasons of
for specific reasons.
Getting into the Bolins with other people, so he's not telling anybody. But man, he is super active on pushing back the negative laws that are preventing us keeping these animals. He's super active on supporting USARC. He's gone to court for these animals. He is someone who sees the bigger picture and works for it. And I'm very much that. I get that we can get tunnel vision sometimes, but I'm good at stepping back and thinking, okay, I know where I'm going to be in 5 to 10 years. Where is my industry going to be in 5 to 10 years? I hope it's still here. That's, and I think Kevin's a big push towards pushing the envelope for education as well as keeping the industry alive. And he's a pioneer. Dude, I was a little kid. Gundy, this is gonna make you feel real old. I was about 7 years old, and I scraped together the money to take a Greyhound bus at 7, right down to the Orlando show.
Wow!
It's now Daytona, in 1998. I think it was to see the bumblebee for the first time.
Oh wow!
I was real poor. So I would go down to the laundromat because the guy who owned it would order the reptile magazines, and I would look through it, and I saw the bumblebee and the albino.
Yeah.
So I scraped together the money, made it down there. I'm 7 years old.
Oh,
There's
wow.
a huge line in front of Kevin's table. Okay, and so this is the 90s, so my hair's spiked up with frosted blonde tips and shit.
Yeah, mine was spiked up too.
And I'm just punching all these dudes in the nuts on my way to the front of the line so they can get out of my way because I want to see the bumblebee. And I cracked my big old head off Kevin's table.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And then I still peeked up to see the first bumblebee, right?
How cool is that?
Dude, yeah. So there's a big sentimental thing there with Kevin McCurley. He probably doesn't even remember that, but I remember that.
Yeah,
And
sure.
I am
Yeah.
where I am today because of that man's impact on my life, and he doesn't even know it.
That is so
Oh.
cool.
Cool, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I hope he sees this.
Yeah.
Well, I get out of the Army in about 2 months. I'm moving to North Carolina in August. I'm going to hit him up for a dwarf caveman.
Nice.
you go.
That's what my dream animal now. Brandon, sorry, man. I don't know why I keep mixing you guys up, man. I'm so sorry about that.
No, it's all good, dude.
What about you, Justin?
I'll be right back.
What would
Sorry,
be
guys.
your who would be your mentor?
Let me check my children.
JKR, it'll be Justin.
Justin.
It'll be Justin.
Just because of the
You
same
just have
name,
to, you
or
just have those guys who are just set apart. To me, from where my age and what I'm growing up on, Justin is the LeBron James of the ball python world right now.
Oh,
You
wow.
know what I mean? So
Yes.
it's kind of like I feel he's in his prime right now.
That's
You know, he's still pretty young. He still has so much to accomplish. It's like right now he's the biggest inspiration for me. Like I said, he's like the LeBron James of the ball python game to me. Don't get me wrong, everybody else from Ozzy and Billy are right behind them, if not on the same level, but you just have those guys from the way they carry themselves, the way they conduct their business, what they show and the way that they show it. And I just think Justin's professionalism is next level.
Yes, it is. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
what
Kiri,
about you, Mr. Kiri?
So I think I'm on the JKR bandwagon as well.
Damn, I'm the only one.
When I first got into snake breeding, I talked to one of the local reptile shop owners, and that was it. That was all the knowledge of snake breeding I've had. I didn't know the people in the game. I didn't research. I didn't know much about it until I talked to him, and he's like, "Oh, this is what you got to do." So at that point in time, I started to research, and I found shoot, no, I can't remember the guy's name. Marcus Jane. So Marcus Jane had a ball python breeding checklist to kind of go through, and so that's what I followed. And then after I started getting into it more, especially once I got an Instagram. Like I said, I hated the community on Facebook, but once I got an Instagram, then I started hearing all these names, and I was like, oh, let me check them out. But when I came across JKR, he was the one that kind of one of the first guys that I followed. He caught my attention, and I think I look at him almost like he's like a visionary, like the things that he puts together, and like, I don't know if his mind is thinking about, if I put this with this and this, I could create this, or if it's just experiment and let's see what happens. But to me, it's almost like he's like an artist.
Probably a combination.
And I love that. And that's it draws my attention. And like mentioned before, he's a super humble guy. He doesn't, he's not trying to be like he's down to earth to me. It's a guy that I would like to meet and actually sit down and chat with. I think
he's cool, dude.
I think I'd get along with him.
He looks like he keeps his composure. He's very calm.
Yeah,
but I feel like his mind is 100 miles an hour.
He's like a thinker. Yeah,
he doesn't stop.
The guy definitely
smiles
outside the box.
Right.
So,
man, you guys are wild. The first time I met him, I thought to myself, man, he's way taller than in his videos.
How tall is he?
He's tall, bro.
You're talking about me?
No, man, Justin's tall. The first time I met him, I was like, what the hell? Man.
Yeah.
No, I agree, though. I 100%.
But yeah, so that's.
Back with the other side.
So now we got the hot seat questions.
Oh, nice.
Won't get too personal. It's just fun and games. But
Yeah, send it, dude.
I do have one for. It's not much of a hot seat, but more of a question that I'm very curious to hear from Mr. Gundy.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sure. If you can choose one person to go herping with you, one celebrity, who would it be? Just one celebrity that you can have go herping with you
That's
just
a
one
good
day.
one.
Wait, when you say celebrity, are you saying a celebrity within our community?
In general, in general.
Gosh.
Hey, don't pick a woman either, because no.
Living or dead?
I'll tell you why.
Is that living or dead?
I don't know.
Is it Clint Eastwood?
No. I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't.
We'll come back
I'll
to
take
it.
it.
We'll come back to it.
Okay.
Give you a minute to think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Owen?
Are we asking that question for everybody, Benny?
No. I mean, no. It's just I had that one question for Mr. Gundy. I don't know if anyone else has any other hot seat questions for the guests.
I got one for Mr. Gundy too. So I'm gonna
being attacked.
Yeah, he's being attacked. So, what is your biggest pet peeve for newcomers, like or new breeders? What they do? Biggest pet peeve.
Ooh, that's an easy.
They don't consider ambient heat.
Okay.
That's a good one. That's a really good
They're
one.
not being taught that you need belly heat and you need some type of heat to, I call it secondary heat, to keep the ambient temperature at least 80 or higher. And I get phone calls all the time because beginners are dealing with sick snakes. Well, I think it was Brandon that started talking about, the autoimmune system starts losing its effectiveness when the temperature starts to drop, meaning that these are cold-blooded animals. And if you have ball pythons at 75, 77 degrees for lengths of time, you're bound to get have issues.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
It's all about warmth and that ambient temperature.
Those are lower than the wintertime temperatures where they come from.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I do when I walk out in my snake room is as soon as I'm out there, I pick up my heat gun, my temp gun, and I point it to the wall.
Yeah.
And I want to know what my ambient temperature is. If my ambient temperature is a little low, I start getting concerned because I know that our eye is just waiting to come right into the collection, and I got to keep my snakes at a level of health so that those things don't happen. So to me, ambient temperature is super important, and I think a lot of beginners either aren't taught that by the pet shops that they're getting their snakes from, or whatever. But that's one of my biggest pet peeves is the lack of proper ambient temperature.
That's a good one.
That's a
now, if we were talking colubrids, we wouldn't even have that conversation. But
yeah, because they'd be going to brumation wintertime.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's it.
Interesting though, Brian. Thank you, man.
I
Sure.
like that.
I got a hot seat question for I had a hot seat question for Justin. I can't think of it, so come back to me. Justin, I'll ask you if you could think of it. Maybe you knew what I was going to ask you. So.
It's not a mind reader, buddy. It's Black Ivory, not Black Ivory mind reader.
Brandon, if you were to have somebody to have dinner with,
if I were to have dinner with somebody, who would it be?
Yeah, living or dead.
Oh man.
And why?
I would want to have dinner with Oda Nobunaga to discuss old school war tactics during the feudal era of Japan, and then I would want a sword fight with him to the death. Right after. I'm not kidding.
Brandon, we're talking about having fun.
That is fun. What do you mean?
A sword battle?
I'm good.
No, he was, or maybe Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu would be another good one as well. As my college electives, I took military strategy because I thought it was going to be really easy for me, and I was right. And to go back and talk to the greatest minds that ever lived, Oda Nobunaga, Sun Tzu, oh my God, Major Dick Winters. If you guys have ever seen Band of Brothers? Yeah.
Band
Band of Brothers.
You're a big war buff, dude.
Yeah, I do.
Not are you just in the military, but you're a war buff.
Yeah, man. So
My brother's a war buff, dude.
I'm a paratrooper. I've been to Ranger School. I've done all the cool guys stuff. So that was like consumed my life. There was I didn't have anything for a long time until I made sergeant. Did I start get back to keeping the snakes and having hobbies again? The first few years was like being proficient at my craft. So, I mean, obviously, Molinaro knows exactly what I'm talking about.
And you were taught that from where you came from before, right? Like from the military and stuff.
I'm still
in the military, dude. It puts a little bit of an edge on it, right?
I'm still in the military right now.
True.
Yeah, I got 2 more months and I'm out. And I'm a free man.
Really?
Oh, I'm
question.
What was the question? If I could have.
If you could choose to have dinner with anybody in the world, living or
I'm in Canada, so
that be and why?
So I would probably choose. I'm an art fan, and I've always loved Salvador Dali. I think
me too, man.
I think his bizarreness and his personality and the way his mind works, it's fascinated me ever since I ever learned about him. So I'd love to sit down and just talk with that guy for a meal or whatever, because he's off the wall, and I love it.
That's cool though.
That's amazing, bro. He's literally my favorite artist of all time too.
Yeah, I love him.
Salvador Dali.
Yeah,
he's good.
Yeah,
dude.
It's just wild.
That's amazing, dude. It's amazing, man.
Is that the guy that had the mask or that mustache?
Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm not too familiar with. Yeah.
Yes, but no.
Yeah, he did.
That
Yeah,
guy.
the mustache.
Yeah, he had the big
It's
mustache.
the guy with the show.
Yeah, he came out. He did a speech somewhere, and he had like a full dive suit on, and he passed out from the thing, and he pulled up somewhere, and he had like a big. His entire car was filled with like watermelons or some type of fruit or something, like just crazy. Like he was just. I don't know. I just think like his showmanship, and I watch old interviews with him, and he was.
That's so cool, dude.
They'd ask him like serious questions, and he'd sit there and talk about like rhinoceroses and lobsters. Like I don't know, his showmanship was on a different level. Like
that's excellent.
Incredible guy.
That's awesome. Justin, how about
It's
you?
super awesome, man. Cause I didn't know any of that about him.
Yeah.
I just know his paintings.
Yeah, I mean he's an incredible artist, super talented, but he was just.
I didn't know him on the personal level like you do, and for you to explain that on our channel, I think that's 100% amazing.
Yeah.
For me, it's an amazing thing. So.
Even I post a lot of his quotes in my stories and stuff occasionally. I'll post them because even his quotes were, I don't know, they make me laugh. They're just.
That's awesome, dude. I'm gonna have to pay a heck of a lot more attention to.
Yeah, check them out.
Already, that alone for me puts you kind of close to the top, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Just joking. Not joking. Sorry, not joking. I mean, seriously. But I mean, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Seriously, I'm just
He's
joking.
like, dig himself.
Oh man.
Shit.
I'm not trying to dig myself a hole here, guys. So.
So back to Justin.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
I don't know.
Justin, can you hear?
I think there's a lag.
That whole screen froze again.
Yeah, Justin just has a lag, man.
Justin,
Same question.
Same question, Justin.
There we go.
I don't think so.
Now he's frozen.
You think he's? No, he goes in and out.
I don't know.
He's here. I can starting to see him.
He's frozen there.
Justin, who do you have dinner with?
A celebrity.
Can you guys hear me?
Anybody? Yeah, we can't have now. Yeah, go ahead.
I would say Steve Irwin.
Nice.
It's a good one.
Fine.
I would only say him just because I would like to just see his thought process in person.
Right.
Very cool.
I feel
Yeah,
like
that's
it's a lot to learn there just on the thinking level.
Yeah.
Boom. You put that in such a great
And
perspective,
I feel like
buddy.
he's in the animal world. He's a vision. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
definitely a visionary himself in the animal world, and
Sure.
I would just love to pick him apart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Talk to Kevin. Kevin worked with him one-on-one. You know.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
I remember the day.
Yeah, that's
he
another
died.
guy that'd be very. Yeah, definitely Kevin as well.
Yeah, for him, he's right up there for me, right next under Steve Irwin. You know, the fact that they even work together, that Steve Irwin even privileged Kevin to handle the animals and bring them on stage for people like all these talk show hosts and stuff in the industry and stuff. It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, and what were you going to say?
Go ahead, guys.
The socialization
what I was
aspect
saying
of the animals it's intense.
What I was saying when I was I was actually golfing the day that Steve Irwin died, and I got a phone call. I got a phone call from my friend. He calls me up and goes, "Hey," I'm like, "What do you want?" You know, I'm golfing. He goes, "Steve Irwin died." I'm like, "Shut up, man." I'm like, I'm in the middle of my golf. I'm like, and he's telling me that he died, and I was like, "That's not. Don't lie to me, man. Don't lie to me." He goes, "No, you Steve Irwin died." So I had to look it up while I'm golfing, looking up, making sure that it's real. And then my whole day was like, this just sucks, you know?
It was
this is the guy. This your worst game ever.
This is the guy. This is the guy that had a lot of passion, and he was a role model for a lot of people. You know what I mean? I mean, everyone in here have known, Steve Irwin, but it took me back and it made me, it was just a sad moment, Someone that's in this world that was put on this earth to care for, to love the animal, to show us the other side, and was just taken away. It was just sad.
It was definitely a day that the world stopped.
There's not a lot of people who really spend so much of their energy and time and focus and put their focus and energy into like what he did, like the way he did it.
Yeah.
So much focus and energy and all in one spot, man. And it meant so much to all of us,
Yeah.
So, yeah, the day he died, it was crippling. It was a crippling moment for everyone.
So
Owen, did you finish golfing, or were you like,
borrow your answer and
I can't golf anymore, man. I gotta go.
I'd want to take herping with me. That would be cool.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
And you know what? I was
That would be the day, bro.
I was hoping that was gonna be your answer.
Yeah,
dude. Because you know what? I would love to watch a video of you and Steve going out there finding some rattlesnakes.
Now there is chills that going through me, man. That would be a legendary day, man.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, that
would have been. Yeah,
every day isn't, but that would definitely be something too.
I'd be like a little kid,
I mean,
what's so great about that? What's so great about it is because he does act like a little kid. Like he's he's in his element, Yeah, it's just like a little kid that you're like, man, this grown man acts like a little child, but it's so amazing to look at. It's like, I want to be in that moment.
Yeah. Like watching him. I mean, anybody who watched him probably dreamed of being in that moment with him. Like he's doing it at the time. I mean, now, back in cable Discovery Channel, all we had was the Discovery Channel, and to watch him, dude, on the internet, and you got other guys like Steve Austin. You guys know Steve Austin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's still alive, but he's not in the game anymore. I don't see him in the game. Maybe, I don't know, Brian, do you know Steve Austin? Do you see him?
Who's Steve Austin? I'm not doing
that. Man. Austin Stevens. Sorry, Steve Austin. I mean Austin Stevens. Steve Austin's is 316. I mean Austin Stevens. Austin Stevens, if you watch this, man, I apologize 100%.
Yeah, Steve
I was like, man,
Everybody knows who Austin
Everyone
Stevens
knows
is. Nobody knows there's Stone Cold Steve Austin, the wrestler.
He's a Stone Cold
That's
Stunner,
also-
man.
I mean, I just messed them both up.
I'll take Steve Austin.
Yeah, you could, dude. You could.
Crack open a can of
One
beer.
venomous kiss from you, Brian Gundy. That guy's falling on the ground.
Oh shit! I haven't laughed this much in a long time. I think.
Oh, good, man. That's what I'm trying to bring.
Are
to
there
the table, to be honest.
watching this right
It
now?
sucks so bad that I wasn't here the last time,
There's still,
but
yeah, there's still people watching this.
Okay.
yeah, everybody's watching it, man. What are you talking about? But anyways, great.
You guys, I can't.
Mr. Gundy,
Where are we at, Benny?
even though that he's no longer here, man, we get to see his children and grandchildren
Mhm.
still
Yeah.
have
Oh,
that
yeah.
same passion that he had, and I think that's one of the coolest things that we can see now. You know,
Sure.
is that his passion for the animal lives. You know what I mean? Through his kids
And watching his son and his daughters just as amazing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay? To watch them continue, it means something else, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's even kind of
Yeah.
more
It's
sentimental a little bit,
Yeah.
you know?
What's his son's name?
Robert.
Robert.
Robert
To watch
and Vinny.
Robert on like Jimmy Fallon or something like
Yeah.
that. It's great.
Yeah.
It's almost saying it's identical. It's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's-
I know
love
they're
it.
doing
Yeah.
such a great job over there, man. At the Australia Zoo and all what they do on social media. I mean, this whole episode's about social media, and what they do on social media is amazing as well, you know. So
Yeah, watching
Props to them,
Robert feed
and-
the same gator that Steve fed 20
Yeah.
years prior.
Yep.
It was like incredible.
Yeah.
or watch Robert catch and wrangle the first gator that even Steve
Yeah.
brought to the zoo. The oldest
Yeah,
gator, you know, and he did that like a champ, man. That guy's in it for sure,
He's
just like his dad. Yeah.
Steve's best friend. I can't remember his name.
The guy that was with him when he died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
is Robert's mentor. Like he taught him how to handle the gators and everything. I was
That's
watching
amazing.
A show about it, and the
Wow.
coolest meme I ever saw, because there's a lot of great Steve Irwin's memes, but this one really like hit home sort of emotionally. It was a
Put it out
two-piece
there.
meme, right? It was cut down the middle, and the top picture is Steve barefoot walking into the ocean, and behind him is his kids, and each one of his kids is in one of his boots, and he says, "Don't worry, you'll fill them." And the picture on the bottom is his daughter holding the koala and his son feeding the gator,
Wow.
filling his boots.
Yeah, right.
And I was like,
Awesome.
that was the best made meme I've seen like in a minute.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's
That
cool,
shit was
man.
good.
That's awesome, man.
My son, I have a son. He's gonna be 9 in June, and we had just had our first clutch today. So my wife thought that Penelope, our pastel het clown, had finished laying eggs. So she pulled the bin out and stuff, and our bins have lids. So she pulled the lid out. She put it on the table, and she continued to lay. And so they hung the part of the bin over the edge, and they got to sit underneath. And my son and my wife watched Penelope lay her last 4 eggs
3.
through the bin.
That's
Four.
awesome, dude.
Her last
That's
3
really
eggs,
cool.
sorry. So,
That was
and my
over.
son, I told my son, I said, dude, in 20 years, you're going to be able to say that you were there from the very beginning, dude.
Wow.
You know?
That's great.
So that really meant a lot to me. I wasn't here. I was out working a little bit, but I got the phone call around like noon that she was laying her egg. But yeah, so for my son and stuff. So I hope that I can just be an inspiration like Steve, as he was as much to his son as I can be to my son.
Yeah, you will be, Joe.
Yeah, you keep the
Thanks,
passion
Brian.
alive,
That means
dude.
a lot, man.
You keep the
Thanks
passion
to everyone.
alive, and you will be. There's no doubt.
Thanks, guys.
That's awesome.
Carrie, Brian, Brandon, and Justin, I can't tell y'all how much of a pleasure and an honor it was to have you guys on the show. Alex, too. I'm sorry he had to leave early. Thank you so much. This was amazing. You guys are all awesome. Everybody in the chat and watching the videos after, follow these guys. Follow these pages on Instagram and YouTube. We'll have the links in the description. Right, Vinny?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm grateful to have you guys on the show as well, because it's an honor to know you guys at a more personal level versus just as a breeder and stuff like that. You know, and helping Mr. Gundy navigate this earlier, which is awesome, because he's asking me for help. You know, instead of
So Brian Gundy needs help from me.
Yeah, you know, I gotta
record it.
answer the call. Yeah, that's right. I gotta answer the call.
Benny and
so awesome.
and Owen put all this together and stuff. So
Thank you, guys.
You guys, we appreciate it. You guys are awesome.
And Carrie, I love your mustache.
Me too, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, Mo, I had a hot seat question for you, dude. You gotta do it before we leave. Can you put the glasses on?
Put the goggles?
Yeah, Ken, that was gonna be my hot seat question for you. Like, and you gotta put the hat back. I mean,
look at that. Look at that.
There we go, man. We're ending it.
There we go.
That's it, man.
Wow.
All right, man. Sweet, dude. Sweet.
I love that, man.
That's so cool, man.
All right, guys. Incredible for all you guys being here. I know Mary's running the show this episode, so that's what we do. We take turns running episodes, man. So.
Gary, take the hat off. Gary, you gotta take the hat off.
Oh, I gotta get the cup.
Hey, man, you can totally pull that off, dude.
That's him.
That's the turtle.
Oh, sorry. I did have one more hot seat question for Justin that we didn't get to. And I had to know, dude, what is the craziest thing behind the scenes you ever did with Jay? From Prehistoric Pets. From Jay Brewer. Like, yeah, I know you guys hang out a lot. You can see it in your videos. What's like the craziest joke, the craziest thing? What would be like the craziest thing? That's what I was gonna ask you. Like, I know he jumped in a whole entire tank full of like how many? 32 snakes. He pulled out all those anacondas. You were right there. You catching those anacondas with him? He's thinking. I'm just giving him some ideas. I don't know. Can we get that last little bit?
It would be him cooking when he cooks. When he cooks at home,
was it him cooking octopus, Justin? I need to know. Did you try it? Did you ever eat it the way he ate it? Did you just bite into it? What do you do, man? You guys must have so much fun, dude. You don't even have to answer the question, bro. It's incredible having all you guys on here, man. I had a super blast time tonight. Oh, do you have an answer?
No,
it's okay.
Definitely him cooking. It's funny. When he cooks at home, it's pretty crazy.
All right, I don't know.
I never picked Jay Brewer for a chef.
No, I'm having trouble hearing you at this last little part, man. It's tough.
Carry his goggle. Look at him.
Man, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Does it magnify?
It's been an absolutely amazing show. That's all. Like, I don't know what to do. We gotta end.
It's just a lens.
Again.
Lens, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
That's awesome. There you go. Well, I appreciate it. We thank you guys for coming on. There's your cup.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us. It was a blast.
I appreciate you guys for having us. Yeah.
I left my
kitchen.
Cheers, guys.
No worries. No worries.
No worries.
Cheers. Thank you. Next time.
Cheers.
You guys take care.
Thank you guys for coming.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Have a good
Take
one,
care, everybody.
guys.
Be good to each other.
Have a good one, guys.